Hey there, Dragonball Infinity. My name is Luke. I'm your role-playing admin, and this is the roleplay update. Some of you might not remember or might not know what the roleplay update is all about, but I'm going to give you a brief overview, brief reminder why I started this project. The roleplay update was a series of YouTube videos that I used to put out to help connect all the information in roleplay and all the current events that were happening on chat channel and just, talk about it for a little while and let everyone know what was going on. At the time when I first started the project, it was chat was really active. There was a lot going on, a lot of different arcs, a lot of different plots, people doing a lot of different things all over the universe, and not everybody had time to really read everybody's logs. Um, you know, it's hard enough getting players to go back and look at what other people are doing. Usually we get lucky and we catch it while it's happening on chat, but it's kind of rare for people to go back and actually read the logs themselves. So the roleplay update was a way to make it easier for people to know what was happening, and also also it was a way to inform people of what other people were doing, and then maybe from hearing that they might go and read it because oh, that sounds interesting. I think I will check that out. That sort of thing. But that's what the roleplay update is. And I want to bring back this project. I want to revitalize it, and I think this is a really good chance to start doing that. We just began a new age. We're in the age of revolutions, and we're sort of slowly restoring our DBI community, which is awesome. Um, last few months, last few seasons actually, there haven't been that many people logging on regularly, and it's just recently in the past few weeks that everybody's been slowly coming back. Just about all the active admins have been back. We've all been working. We've been adding new areas. We've been fixing old bugs. We've been doing a lot. I've mostly just been working on the roleplay side of things. Been trying to get everything ready, but it finally is ready, so we need this video. Um, the Age of Revolutions has a lot of big changes and a lot more subtle changes. Not a lot has really changed with the system as a whole, but a lot of really subtle things have changed with the setting. Um, so I'm gonna try to attack those two issues: the system changes and the setting changes. And we're gonna start with the setting changes because I think this is the most important information for new players coming into the system and coming into DBI. Here's the things that have changed since the last age. The big thing, the really big thing, is that 250 years have passed. Um, that's a big deal. A lot of old characters are just literally dirt in the ground because of that. And the other ones who do survive, the ones that you guys decide to bring back, like if Kanoya wants to come back, or Calmega, or maybe Elias, um, if you guys want to do that, that's perfectly fine. I have absolutely no problem with that. That's totally cool. You will have to explain how you lived to be that long. Either you're playing a race, like let's say you're Ragnios, the Kaios age much differently than human beings. They can easily live to be 500 to 1,000 years old. No problem. The Namekians are probably the same way. Demons could probably be really ancient beings. So if your character happens to be one of those races, you can just explain what you've been doing all that time. But for other people, more humanoid races, more organic races, you're gonna have to come up with an explanation. Probably, I recommend cryosleep. There's a lot of different companies that could have offered that during the time. Um, Capsule Corp, of course, is very canon, and I'm sure that they would have a technology similar to that. And if you want to dig into sort of roleplay's history, you could even choose V-Day Corp, which was the medical corporation that Lai's character Elias used to own and run. And that would be a nice touch if you want to add that to the tidbit. Other options are that you maybe were thrown through a rift in time. I know that sounds crazy, that one's a little bit more obscene, a little bit more ludicrous, but there's actually places in the universe where time has, where that could happen. If you read the new Kanasa bio, you find out that the planet is actually suffering uh, distortions in time. So maybe you were on Kanasa and you fell through a portal and ended up 250 years in the future. Who knows? Or maybe you're from the future and this is now the past for you. There's there's lots of really interesting ways that you could explain it. You know, you could have been cursed. There's, you know, found the magic amulet, and you, as soon as you touched it, you fell asleep and you hadn't woke up until someone took it from your hands. You know, there's a lot of ways that you could explain that. So, and if you have a question about one, if you don't know for sure if anyone it's going to be believable or it's too much, you know, come to us, talk to us. We're always willing to help. Um, and that's the fun stuff. That's fun to help with. Is helping people create ideas like that, you know. But the simple ideas work best in most situations. Just me, you know. Usually that's how it goes. Other setting changes. If you notice, there's a lot of different race backgrounds. The the races haven't really changed. Nothing has really changed since the last time, but the information has been. Uh, I feel like last time it was written by a whole bunch of different authors. I think Rizian and Ignis and Kyrus were all working together, and they sort of all had different ideas, and so it it looked sloppy. Even on the wiki, it looked sloppy. So I've just kind of gone back and, you know, really really made those pages more identifiable, like separated them onto their own pages and made the information more clear, brought a lot more clarity to each race's background. A few races were flushed out a bit more to give them more character. Gettys, for instance, bioandroids, and especially androids, all had major flushes in their general background. I tried to make androids more of their own unique being instead of just being creations. You know, androids now have a sort of electronic soul that was given to them by like ancient insignias, which I think is a nice touch. I think it's cool. Of course, you can always interpret a race background how you need to. They're not set in stone. Um, it's just a general idea to help people who don't really know what they're doing, and to help people who want to explore the universe later on, and, you know, want to have an idea of where they're going. Let's say you visit Hydia for the first time. You know, you want to know kind of what the culture is, things like that. Um, and that's just general information. Of course, it's always better to, you know, add your own unique touch, your own unique spin to things. That's what will separate you from other writers. So, you know, look at these, familiarize yourself with the concepts, but always feel free to interpret it how you truly desire and how you truly need to. Besides the race backgrounds, a couple planets have changed to sort of accommodate different different destruction and things like that that happened over the course of these 250 years. Especially Earth. Earth got a lot of damage at the very end of the last age when Calmega made a civil war with planet Earth. He destroyed the moon, destroyed the city of Abingdon, really hurt the military and the brass there. Um, so the setting sort of reflects that. There's also a new V-Day city to honor Lai and Elias, because had before he was unfortunately destroyed, he was working on something really cool, like a energy field to dampen key abilities, and I felt bad about what happened, and I thought that was just a small way to recognize the effort that he was putting into that project before it was rudely snuffed out. Um, Besides that, the only other really big setting changes have been the war between Earth and Insignia happened at the very end of the last age when Calmega left after attacking the Earth. His forces were crushed by the Earth military once it had reformed itself, and Insignia was basically destroyed. The whole planet of Insignia 5 is now nothing but a machine graveyard, uh, which means that a large part of the Insignian history has been lost because of that. And that's a big deal. Um, you should also, in your roleplays, there might still be a lot of hatred and a lot of resentment between those two races. They really might not be getting along even after all this time. And that would add a nice, unique touch to some of the roleplays if you acknowledge that interaction between those two. That's it for most of the setting changes. On to the big changes, the more important changes, which is the system changes. Uh, Rizzy and I had been talking about this for a long time. The 250-year leap is another part of the system change and the roleplay wipe. So anyone who was a higher tier at the end of the last age, you've all lost your power. Everyone, it's a new start, it's a new beginning. so everyone is beginning at the first level again, T0. But the good news is that we've changed the ranks of the tiers. You're from the beginning now. You're a lot stronger than you were before. You have key potential. You're capable of superhuman feats. You're actually you've got a much greater grasp of martial arts and training, and especially energy. You know, so that should be help things be more exciting in the beginning than it was in the past. Uh, you're still welcome to make characters who know nothing about martial arts and nothing about ki, and who slowly develop those powers like normal people would, but it's not a requirement anymore. Now you can start off with some pretty advanced concepts and advanced fighting styles and advanced abilities to manipulate energy. You start out, in fact, with one ability slot, so right from the beginning you'll have at least one key technique to use, and hopefully you guys will like and appreciate that and use that power responsibly. That's the big thing, because if we have issues, we might revoke and go back to the way it used to be. But I don't think that'll be a problem. The other big change is the slot system. In the past, we had a lot of weird bookkeeping, where you had to spend every 10 red points on one of your abilities or buy a new ability with your 10 red points. And ultimately, I felt like it was unnecessary, and didn't fit with the themes of DBI and Dragon Ball Z. The power of your ability is dictated by your physical power, your tier, as we know it in the chat channel, and that means that all of your abilities should scale to that tier. You can always hold back, you can always reserve some of your strengths so you don't just blast someone into cinder, but you can also overcharge your own ability and really start draining your body as you channel more power than even you're really capable of. But that's the biggest change, basically, is that your abilities now scale with your tier. To replace the old natural talent trait, which used to let you buy a tier scaling ability, you can now buy additional ability slots whenever you want for 75 green RPP. And that should help people like our big power players who end up with giant banks of green points and don't really know what to spend it on. Because some of our players, especially some of our really hardcore role players, don't like the in-game rewards, and they want to be able to spend those points on advancing their characters. So this is a really good way to do that. Now, be mindful that as we go into this new age, especially with the ability slot system, I'm going to be keeping really close watch on that, and I need to make sure that we're getting the right amount of abilities each tier. I don't want people to feel like they're ending up with too few in the beginning and too many later on, or not enough in general. We'll adjust it so that it feels right. I'm actually thinking about, well, we'll get to that at some point if I decide to make any changes. But otherwise, that's pretty much all the big changes that have happened for the Age of Revolutions. I want to thank you guys for coming back to the mud. I want to thank you guys for role-playing, and I want to thank you for watching this video if you decide to. DBI is a really big part of my life, and I've put a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort into DBI over the years, and I want to continue to do that. This is a great game. It's the best Dragon Ball Z game that you can find on the internet, probably anywhere actually. If you've played any of the console games of Dragon Ball Z, it just doesn't capture the magic and the feeling that DBI has. Dragon Ball Infinity has something really unique, and I want to keep adding content to it, and hopefully we can help grow. We can make our community larger than it is now, and become more than we ever dreamed of becoming, because that was always the intention of Dragon Ball Infinity, was to be the best, and we shouldn't settle for anything less than that. We don't have to. We have a good enough game where we can be the best. So thank you guys, thank everyone. I'll see you guys in the chat.